Hello, everybody. All right. So with that, I welcome to the Mikestand, everybody. Hopefully, everybody's having a good day thus far and good week. If you haven't already, if you can like and share the stream to see if um, we can get some more friendly people in here to engage, that'd be appreciated. Also, if anything we talk about tonight grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. We'll try to answer the questions to the best of our ability. Hey, Rick, I see you there. Hello. Um, so, anyways, um, anyways, so I hope everybody's having a good day today. I'm just waiting to see if Tim's gonna show up or not. Just sent him a message, see if he was on his way. Not, I guess I'll be doing a show on my own again tonight. But that's all right. Hopefully, anyways, I've got a couple of things to take care of real quick here, so I'm going to go off camera for a quick moment. But what I am going to do for you guys, I'm going to put some music on while I'm away for the moment, so I'll be right back. All right, that was. Anyways, send him a message on Twitter for you. Well, thank you, Rick. That's appreciated. Hopefully, yeah, I'll do this real quick. So, anyways, well, I guess while waiting for Tim to see if he shows up or not, so here's what's on tap tonight. I do have a couple articles to go over from Bounding into Comics. One story that's been kind of covered over the last couple of days here. I guess. Oh, there he is. As soon as I can get the clicker over there. Hey, Tim.
Sorry for being late.
No problem. I was a little concerned. I was hoping that I was hoping you didn't fall asleep on me again.
No, I didn't fall asleep. I got finished typing up something and yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, I messaged you, and then Rick just said he messaged you on Twitter for me, so that was helpful there.
Yeah.
So how are you doing today, Tim?
Oh, that's pretty good. I got in the middle of typing something really good and
What for your comic or?
just for a story that it's in the works for next year. 2025, and it's pretty. It's pretty. I don't know what, maybe dark, but kind of deeper than Melvin.
All right.
More
Well,
like
since we already started anyways with that, you want to just go ahead and do your intro? Tell everybody about
yes, I created the character
projects
called
you're doing and all that. You know the shtick, right?
I know the shtick. Melvin 1 and 2 special editions available on Walmart, Amazon, and Barnes and Noble. I'm working on a story for next year called Death Core #1, and it's going to be kind of like the idea of like what happens to like ghosts of the or spirits if they don't pass on or something, or they refuse to go into the light. So they send out the Death Corps to get them,
Hmm.
and they're kind of like I guess undead bounty hunters.
Does sound interesting.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
yeah, I noticed you put something up on Facebook earlier that seemed kind of funny. Something about you hope it's a babe or something like that.
That's a little personal. Let's not get into that.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Maybe I should have waited till after the show to ask about that. Then I just happened to notice and just was curious. But if it's personal, you don't have to tell me anything or anybody anything about it. So, anyways, let's get into why we're really here. Now that you've done your promo, and as always, you can always share links if you'd like. Um, but let's get into why we're here. Of course. Oh, okay. Anyways, I did see that, Tim. Okay. Um,
Sorry, that was supposed to say overwhelmed, but anyway, you get the point.
yeah. Um, oh yeah. All right.
Anyway, continue.
Again, if you want, we can talk more about it after the show. If not, I understand. So,
Right.
anyways, let's get into some more positive, happier things, as it were. um, I do have a couple articles I picked out from Bounty in the Comics. One that I mentioned earlier was what has been covered over the last few days here from both Veridark and or the issue has by Veridark and Yellow Flash, and regarding to Studio Pero's president basically advising some of the other Japanese companies not to give in to the West demands, not to like just worrying about catering to the West. And also, there's another little story, more of a comic story, where it looks like somebody is planning on trying to reimagine Witchblade. That's the other article we'll be going over tonight. Um,
Already? Why don't they
yeah.
just leave that alone?
Well, I kind of funny because one of the things I think in the article it said was what may have indeed been that. But those are the two articles we're going to go over tonight. Plus, of course, the wrestling wrap up and the wrestling wrap up and the This Day in Each History. So, with that all being said, before we get into the articles, Tim, is there anything in terms of promotion or anything like that? Anything you want to add right now, or shall we get into the articles?
Just Melvin 1 and 2 special editions on Walmart, Amazon, and Barnes and Noble.
Okay.
Get it.
Well, with that, we'll now get into the articles. So the first one we're going to talk about here, and apparently, of course, I guess another couple articles must have happened in the time since I had originally put this up. But anyways, so here's the first article we're going to go over tonight. Naruto and Bleach Anime Studio president rejects idea that anime should conform to Western standards. Quote, if you make animation with that in mind, it will become increasingly boring, quote unquote. And I know a lot of people have concurred on that, including Yellow Flash and Dark. Um, of course, the
Kind
studio
of
remains.
ironic, if I may interject here. Kind of ironic. These are the people that say we need to respect other people's cultures, and then they want to tell other cultures how they should do things.
What exactly are you talking about?
The people who want them to change, want them to conform to Western standards. You know what that means, right? It generally just means that they want them to be more politically correct or more
Right.
diverse. And
Right.
honestly, it's like these are the same people that turn around and say we need to, Japanese characters and Japanese stories need to be played by Japanese people.
Yeah, that is kind of ironic.
And
That
it's
is kind of ironic.
yeah,
If
it's
not
and
if not moronic.
have you seen that it's been going around, but it's a clip of it's from I guess it's from some show where it's this lady at this truck and she's complaining that it's not made by a Mexican, but the white guy doesn't make it at all, and the person who makes that makes the tacos and such is like a Korean guy, and all their ingredients come from Mexico, and
Yeah,
she
I
doesn't.
mean, I haven't seen that clip, but at
I mean,
least
that's what they complain about this stuff, but then they want to tell other cultures how to make their own stuff.
yeah. Well, that is kind of ridiculous, but I haven't seen that clip myself. But as to your point earlier about how these are the same people who are saying that, oh, well, if it's a Japanese character, therefore it should be voiced by a Japanese or Japanese American person. Uh, so I mean, yeah, I mean that, but that's been talked about for quite a bit the last couple of
Well,
years.
yeah, but I mean, if it's a Japanese American though, that's not exactly Japanese. That's just somebody. That's just an American with a Japanese, you know, lineage.
Yeah, but well, I because I know one of the big things was is one of the people Jameson Price, who's a pretty well known voice actor who has done a lot of work over the years in anime, doing the English dubs. Of course, he was Chad on Bleach, and that's where I'm going with this. Of course, um, I guess he started out doing the first Hokage for the first Hokage's first couple appearances in Naruto, and then switched over to the second Hokage. But but yeah, he made news when he basically said he was going to step down from doing that, um, step down from doing Chad because he thought that Chad should be voiced by somebody who is actually because in the series Chad is like half Japanese, half Mexican, right? So he believed that somebody who's half Japanese, half Mexican should voice Chad in the English dub. Um, so go figure, right? All right. Let's see. Oh yeah. So article by Spencer McCauley published yesterday. And there's Naruto right there. So let's get into this article then. And as always, Tim, of course, if anything else pops into your head, want to comment on, feel free to do so. Just let me know, and I'll stop and make your comment. We can talk about whatever comes to pass. And as a reminder to everybody in the chat, if you haven't already, you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream. See if we can get some more friendly people um, to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. We'll try to answer the questions to the best of our ability. So, with that being said, let's get into this. In adding his voice to the increasing number of Japanese creatives who have found themselves unhappy with the ever growing demands that their works be altered in order to accommodate Western sociopolitical standards, anime production studio Piero Company Limited, president and CEO Michiyuki Honma, has warned that should his respective medium change its core identity in order to attract overseas audiences, the results will quote, become increasingly boring, unquote. Which is true. And I know Flash has talked about this, Yellow Flash has talked about this quite a bit too, Um, part of the reason people are going more for manga and anime because it's different from what people don't want to be preached at in the American comics, so they're gonna go to manga where they can actually just go and get into the material and have fun with it. So um, Honma, who during his thus
Oh, hold on.
far, oh, go ahead, Sam.
You know how social justice warriors are a lot like rapists? They don't.
How you ask me? Do I
You
know
didn't.
how social justice
How
warriors like?
are a lot because they can't take no for an answer.
Okay, yeah,
When the public says no, we don't want that, they don't care.
yeah. They make themselves a very loud minority.
Right,
That's
but
right.
and so when people say no, they do it anyway.
Yeah, that's kind of funny because these are. I don't know if you, but aren't these usually the type of people that people feel like every time they open their mouth, you just want to stick your fist in their mouth?
Oh, if only if I was only if we had a purge for one day where I could, where all crime is legal
Mm.
in Minecraft, I
Yeah,
could
in
kill a lot of
Minecraft.
people
Yes, in Minecraft.
in Minecraft.
Yep. Um, yeah. So, anyways, um, and I'll get anyways, back to the article then here. Honma, who during his thus far tenure at the studio has overseen the production of such anime series as Bleach, Bleach Thousand Year Blood War, Naruto, Naruto Shippuden Boruto, um, Naruto Next Generation, and Kingdom, offered his Studio Pero does a lot of great, obviously I've seen Bleach. I do want to at some point watch Bleach Thousand Year Blood War because that sounds interesting. I've seen Naruto work and I'm watching Naruto Shippuden on Toonami right now, and I've seen some of Naruto Next Generation, and of course I've seen Kingdom too. They're all very good series, so highly recommend them. um offered his thoughts on this hot topic while speaking with Japanese entertainment news outlet Comic Natalie for their anime studio staff centric interview series Anime Studio Chronicle. And there's Naruto in there, and eventually turning eventually turning to reflect on how popular the aforementioned Naruto trilogy has been with overseas viewers. At current, roughly 30% of Studio Pierrot's video sales come from overseas audiences, with the trio of series and their related films being by far their best sellers. The studio boss asserted, quote, I am endlessly grateful to have had the opportunity to meet and produce a great work um, that will become a long term series that will last for years. However, it is difficult to make a work that will be popular overseas or that will become a long term series, unquote. To this end, Homna explained, quote, of course, you can aim for the top half, but if you make an animation with that in mind, it will become increasingly boring, unquote. Quote, we don't make characters smoke in order to take some series overseas, unquote. He continued, quote, we have to make the violence a little less violent and avoid sexy expressions. Japanese animation is bound by such restrictions or expression. There is no way that people overseas will want to watch it, which is true because here's the thing, and here's one of the points I know Yellow Flash made when he was talking about this too. And I think they even probably mentioned it in the article here in another article. Um, the people who are going to like this are going to like it for what it is. Okay, people like who like Naruto, like I'm a Naruto fan. I'm actually a fan of a lot of Studio Pierrot. Of course, again, Naruto and Bleach are probably considered two of the more well known. Kingdom's another one, and I know Yu Hakusho also was done by Pierrot. Okay, so and Yu Yu Hakusho, as I've mentioned several times, is probably my all time favorite anime, or one of my all time favorite animes. So they do good work. You know, um, if you try to cater to a loud minority, you're going to end up falling flat on your face. Pure and simple. Drawing his thoughts to a close, Honma ultimately affirmed, quote, works that are a hit in Japan are also a hit overseas. I believe that we must not make the mistake of approaching anime production in the wrong way. In other words, the way SJWs want it, it's almost like a backwards kind of thing. It's like, no, you should cater to that loud minority first, then everybody else. But no, it's the other way around. Hmm. All right. So, as noted above, Honma is, in parentheses, thankfully, far from the first Japanese creator to speak out against the ongoing attempt by Western audiences to force Eastern countries' various entertainment mediums to appeal to their own taste and sensibilities. Yeah, yeah, I wouldn't say it's Western audiences. It's a very small yet loud minority of Western audiences. Let's be clear on that. Let's be absolutely clear on that. It's a very loud but small minority of Western audiences. Okay, so let's be absolutely clear on that. As during an April interview with video game news outlet Automaton, if he was taking, quote, care not to let your series, in smaller quotes, identity become westernized, unquote. Current Mana series producer Masaru Oyamada declared, quote, I think the visuals of the Mana games are a distinctive characteristic. Therefore, it is best to deliver the game based on the developer's creative vision, unquote. So, yeah, I mean, again, as was stated before, if people are gonna like it for what it is. So well, let's see. It looks like we do have some comments here. So let's see who's here. Hey Elk, AL Xenu and Xena. Um, SP Mark says Kingdom season 1 disappointed with the third animation. Let's see. Masakazu Morita voices both Ichigo and Shin. I guess that's the Japanese voice, as it were. What's your favorite wombat species? I don't have one. Um, hint. Let's see. Australian continent. Okay. Let's see. And then Barbary Coast here. Why does Kingdom character names sound different in Japanese? Wanky is wiki. Well, because basically what you have to remember too, Kingdom is a story based on I guess some of the early stages of Chinese development. So what Kingdom's about is how China became one country. Started out as a bunch of
Well, that and they have different like certain countries have different sounding vowels and what I
Right,
think. So
right. So, um, what's your favorite 1958 cartoons and movies? Let's see. I don't. Let's see. The only cartoon I know that came out in 1958 was Hanna Barbera's the
do any of these have to do with the article though?
yeah,
I'm just gonna say that.
yeah, not really, but I said CG. Okay. All right. So, anyways, back to the article. Um, all right. So, quote, for example, there are many different types of characters in the monasteries, unquote. He said, quote, I think the fun of the game is encountering this mysterious world and its inhabitants. And because of that, we don't have a strong focus on a particular audience. However, we do work on the game while bearing in mind that the monasteries is loved by fans from all over the world. Weighing in on the discourse surrounding the heavily altered localization scene in the English release of Vanillaware's Unicorn Overlord, Final Fantasy Tactics director Yasumiyu Matsuno opined, quote, I believe that it is unacceptable for someone to alter a work without considering the original author's intent. However, when the market or language is different, a direct translation may not convey the intended meaning accurately, which we've talked about that aspect with some, we were talking about that a couple months back when there was a whole localization debate going on and some of these Western localizers inputting their own political ideologies in the translations. Um, this is especially true for humor. Therefore, I think some degree of alteration is unavoidable. Quote, the issue lies in whether the original author has consented to these alterations. Has anyone confirmed whether the author of Unicorn Overlord has approved its English translation? Unquote. He then posited, quote, in any case, I think both arguments have merit. Translating faithfully to the original and allowing some degree of adaptation encourage discussion on this matter, as I do not intend to take sides. However, if the original author approves, I believe that should be respected, and that's all. Unquote. Now basically again we've talked about this before with the whole idea with the localizations too, the translations. Like it's one thing if because obviously when you're translating, let's say from one language to another, obviously you not only have to. It's not just sometimes a little translation isn't always the best idea, only because um, maybe there's certain words that don't translate. There's also the idea of like grammar and syntax may be different between the two languages. Those things are I think are understandable when you have to make those type of changes. But when you change up the actual meaning, that's outside the realm of just simple word usage or something, like when you like what we've seen in a lot of cases when you're like turning characters who were intended to be, you know, be one type of character and then got turned into another by the localizers because they felt they had the right to, then that's a problem. Um, and that's the end of that article right there. Uh, Tim, what did you think? What did you think of that article right there?
Well, it sounds like some people in the West want to insert themselves into a culture that they're not part of, instead of just like translating it for a culture over here and tell a story
Mm-hmm.
and just keep faithful to the material. It's like they're trying to preach diversity while trying to change what other countries think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of funny too because I know one of the terms I know Yellow Flash uses for their attitude on this is it's a form of colonialism or colonialism. You know, um, so let's see. Yeah, and I guess you responded to uh, IU Tal's question there. We need on subject questions, right? That'd be preferable, yeah. But
Yeah.
anyways, um, and again, I reminded everybody if you guys can like and share the screen, see if we can get some more friendly people to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. We'll try to answer the questions to the best of our ability. So with that, we got through the first story of the night. So we got one more story we're going to go through tonight. And I will go back to bring that up. And the other story is this one. And, I was telling you a little bit about it earlier, Tim. This one right here, the one I was mentioning to you before the show tonight. Um, Witchblade. Okay, so quote or smaller quotes. Witchblade to be reimagined in quotes in new series from Batwoman and A-Force writer Marguerite Bennett. Reboot will have quote a lot to say about power in the 21st century. Article by Spencer McCauley published earlier today. All right. So, in proving that absolutely no IP is safe from being revived and subverted in an attempt to sell it to, quote, in smaller quotes, smaller or modern audiences, um, Top Cow has announced that their fan favorite supernatural cheesecake series, Witchblade, will soon be receiving a comic book quote unquote reimagining courtesy of DC's Batwoman Volume 3 and Marvel's A-Force Volume 1 writer Marguerite Bennett. Now, I think Witchblade was actually also made into an anime, and I saw the anime. The anime was pretty good as well. Um, anyways, continuing on here. Let's see. Created in 1995, a veteran comic book creator and Top Cow founder Mark Silvestri, editor David Wall, and writing duo and the writing duo of um, the writing duo of Brian Haberlin and Christina Z, and the late artist Michael Turner. Witchblade focuses on a sentient supernatural weapon of the same name, whose usage is meant to keep balance between the universal concepts of good and evil known as the light and the darkness. In parentheses, the latter being the same entity which features in the eponymous The Darkness spin-off series. In parentheses. Have you read the Witchblade comic before, Tim?
No, no, mine was more like Wildcats, Spawn, Youngblood, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and if I understand correctly, Top Cow is an imprint of Image, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, they're all their own studios.
Yeah. So, however, unable to operate on its own, the Witchblade must bond with a host, typically a woman, in order to carry out its mission. In doing so, imbuing them with conditioning, superhuman conditioning, and a risque suit of symbiotic armor, which I know has got quite a bit of fan service aspect to it, which I know a lot of people like.
Yeah,
What was that?
yeah.
Set to hit shelves in July, the reboot will see series co-creator and Top Cow founder Mark Silvestri work with Bennett and artist Boom Studios, Saban Power Rangers, Soul of the Dragon, and DC's Suicide Squad Volume 5 artist uh, Giuseppe Cafaro um, team to offer readers, quote, contemporary takes on familiar characters and new story arcs that will hook new readers and rekindle the energy and excitement that fueled the 90s image revolution, unquote. Image, that's basically your favorite comic book company, right, Tim? Or
Damn
what? I
right.
guess was. I don't know if it still
Damn skip.
is.
I don't know. I don't recognize it anymore. It's too different. It's like back in the '90s. It was dope as hell.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, nobody rather than an original protagonist. This, notably, rather than an original protagonist, the series will focus on a new version of the series' first protagonist, Sarah Gazzini, an New York police department detective who eventually turns to a life of protecting humanity from the supernatural after being picked to serve as the weapon's latest host. So there's the artwork right there for it. Quote, this is brand new mythology um, around Sarah, and I can't wait for you to fall in love with her and all the twists and turns, unquote, Silvestri exclaimed to Top Cow in promotion of the series. Discover Witchblade reimagined this summer and join us as we bring all the fun of the 90s to the modern age and see how exciting comics can be. I can't wait for you to read this new series, unquote. Let's see. To this end, the official log line for the series debut issue teases, quote, in Witchblade #1, New York City police detective Sarah Pazzini's life was forever fractured by her father's murder. Cold, cunning, and hell bent on revenge, Sarah now stalks a vicious criminal cabal um, beneath the city where an ancient power collides and transforms her into something wild, magnificent, and beyond her darkest imaginings. Um, how will Sarah use the ancient power, or will she be consumed by it? And there's another cover there.
Was this, I mean, this is this Image Comics or is it DC?
Well, I think they said it's Top Cow, so I'm guessing it's Image.
Oh, okay.
It's Top Cow
I
doing
thought I
it.
heard something about DC Comics.
Well, one of the artists was or a
Wow.
couple of, I think, like Margaret Bennett's done some work for DC. You know,
Okay.
so that's, I think some of I think like the I guess the people they're bringing in have worked on stuff for DC before. Basically, is I think what they were meaning by all that. So, speaking to the publisher regarding her attachment to the series, Bennett recalled, quote, the ability to tell a ferocious story full of monsters, sexuality, vision, and history was irresistible, unquote. Quote, our saga is sleek, vicious, ferocious, and has a lot to say about power in the 21st century, and will be the first time
Okay,
that we.
that's the thing I'm caught on is they you want to talk about. I'm kind of suspicious about that line in general about power in the 21st century.
What draws your suspicions there? What are you suspicious about?
Okay, it's a female antagonist. It's a image is kind of catering to the lefty weirdos nowadays. So you think about that. They're
So
probably gonna go at
basically, we're like the idea where the women are the one in power. The women are like super strong and like almost to the point of being like Amazons, and the men are just withered and weak.
no, or the men are evil and the women are the ones that are the victims, kind of thing, and such and so forth and so on.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, yeah, and you make a good point with the way they word it. Sometimes, that can
It's
be.
kind of like, remember when Disney bought Marvel and what did they say they were going to turn it into? Does anybody remember, or was no one paying attention?
Well, I don't remember what exactly they said, but I think I have a
I
feeling.
do. They said, and I quote, "We're going to turn it into a lifestyle brand." No
Yeah,
one was,
I
no
didn't
one
hear
was
that. I did
paying,
not hear that, but
no
I
one was paying attention.
yeah.
No one was paying attention because remember, everyone was going to wonder what. Well, Disney just bought Marvel. What are they going to do with it? And they turned around and they told everybody what they're going to do with it, and no one paid attention.
Hmm,
And now look what we got.
yeah. And will be the first time that we are stopping the roller coaster to let more people on. Oh boy, I wonder what that means. Did you just hear the line I just read there, Tim?
Yes, they might mean they're letting on more people who will probably ruin the series. I don't know.
Yeah. Added the co-writer of Amelia Clark's absolutely abysmal MOM Mother of Madness series. Quote, I've loved Witchblade since I was a child, and there's truly no other heroine like Sarah.
Wait, wait. Are we talking about the really awful mom comic where she used her armpit hair to swing around the city?
I don't know if that was the comic, but I don't know if that was actually the name of the comic, but but I get it could be. I mean, because I don't know, but I remember what you're talking about the lady where her superpower was um basically her using her armpits like a spider web or something like Spider Man. But yeah, but
Yeah, it. I just looked it up. It is, and so therefore the series is gonna be terrible.
let's see. With such an iconic legacy and such a rich, brutal relationship to her own body. Such a rich, brutal relationship to her own body. Okay, unquote. Finally, I'm, you know, just even in how they're saying this stuff, it's almost like they're no longer even trying to hide the fact what they're doing. It seems like even with the way, I mean, at least a couple years ago, they would have at least tried to be a little more cute about it. But now they feel it seems like they feel they have more reign to do what they want, even though the results are probably opposite of what they actually thought was going to happen.
Oh, it's gonna be a shitty book regardless, because she's involved in it. So therefore, it's automatically gonna be shit. Case closed.
Yeah, yeah. Anyways, finally offering his own thoughts on the project, Cafaro asserted, quote, the Witchblade universe is being modernized to reflect how Marguerite beautifully explores the extreme sides of Sarah through memories, her personal thoughts, like desire and hunger, in her
Okay. The word here is she's being modernized.
being modernized to reflect how Marguerite beautifully explores the extreme sides of Sarah through memories, her personal thoughts like desire and hunger, um, in her solitude, and when she is possessed by the Witchblade. So I had to visually intersect a noir, true detective like world with a supernatural horror world that is a fantastic mix between Berserk and Zodiac. Hmm.
I know it's gonna be crap.
Set to release with a total of 8 variant covers, as provided by Silvestri and Ari Prianto. In
Yeah,
parentheses, just
Bill so and so, that son of a bitch.
what was that?
Oh, Bill. How do you spell say his last name?
What?
Sinkios. I don't know. Right after Jay Scott. That,
Okay, all
that
right.
guy's
Well,
left. He's kind of a
let
bitch.
me get there, and then parentheses. Their cover coming in standard version and line art version, parentheses. Cafaro and Prianto, Danny and Brad Simpson, J. Scott Campbell, and Bill um, Sinkovich, um, with a blank sketch cover rounding out the line up, Witchblade Volume 3, Number 1, hit shelves on July 17th. Oh, there we go with that one. So you basically said that the book is going to probably be garbage, right?
Well, look who's involved
And I
in
know
it.
you used another word,
It's
but you
that
know how I feel
same.
about words.
It's that same person who created that mom book that was just god awful.
The one with the armpit hair.
And she got her powers from her period.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny too because I think there was a similar book that Whoopi Goldberg did that basically did almost the same thing,
Well,
but I
Whoopi
don't think it was.
Goldberg's a moron.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember that book or remember hearing about that book. You know, basically in Whoopi's book, the superhero, and it was basically a self insert because it was Whoopi in comic form, but
Oh,
basically she got her powers from menopause.
oh, yeah, yeah. Because that's a good way to. Gosh, she needs to hang herself in Minecraft. Maybe
Oh boy, it's just asinine.
she needs to jump headfirst into a wood chipper.
In Minecraft.
Yes, maybe.
uh, let's see. Whoopi probably can swing around cities with her
Pit hair.
armpit.
I want to see a superhero swinging around on on their nose hair. Yeah, think about
Okay.
that, folks. I can't see where I'm going.
Anyway, so yeah, we're done with the articles then for tonight because we're already at 47 minutes. So those articles took quite a time there. But anyways, um, so with that, we're now going to get into the wrestling wrap up here. Um, before we do that, real quick, Tim, any final thoughts on the articles that we just covered?
Witchblade's going to be a suck fest of a book.
Um,
I'd rather wipe my ass with that book than read it.
and anything more to say or final to say on the previous article on the one
Nah,
about.
nah, just a bunch of whiny little bitches trying to weasel their way into someone else's culture.
All right, so with that, we're now going to do, of course, the wrestling wrap up. Of course, starting with some WWE news. Of course, last let's see, and Elk had one more comment here. Disney is dead. MCU. MCU. Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, before we, of course, we get into the results from last night's Raw, WWE did have a few more, releases. One of them was Cameron Grimes. Cameron Grimes. Cameron Grimes was released, which kind of surprised everybody. But the thing was, they just weren't sure how they were going to use him anymore, and that's why he was believed to be released. And then they also released Von Wagner, who, of course, is a second generation wrestler. Von Wagner, the son of Wayne Bloom, aka Bo Beverly, of WWE fame. Okay, and Tim, I will still watch Deadpool and Wolverine. Yep. Yeah, actually, we were talking about. I think it was last night or the night before. We were talking about the issues of whether or not editors should get credited on something. Roy Thomas is seeking to be credited on helping to create.
Yeah, I know. I remember.
Yeah.
I remember.
All right. So with that though, continuing on with the WE news, of course. So Von Wagner was also released, and of course, many people are hoping that he'll get a better chance by signing with another company. Um, while those two were released, Finn Balor re-upped his contract with the WWE, so he'll be sticking around for a while. And with all that being said and out of the way now to get into last night's Raw with, of course, which opened up with a WWE World Tag Title um, match in which current WWE World Tag Team Champions Awesome Truth of R-Truth and The Miz retained their titles over DIY of Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. In another tag team match, The New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods defeated the Imperium duo of Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci, and this led to Kaiser beating up on Vinci as Gunther, who was recently dethroned as the Intercontinental Champion by Sami Zayn back at WrestleMania, was fed up with their, I guess, losing, and Kaiser decided to turn on Vinci for that reason. Sheamus defeated Shinsuke Nakamura, which led to a kind of a confrontation with Drew McIntyre. Andrade and Ricochet beat JD McDonough and Santos Escobar with Dominic Mysterio in their corner. And in a match to crown a new women's world champion after Rhea Ripley was forced to vacate it due to being injured, Becky Lynch outlasted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 other women in a battle royal to crown a new women's world champion. So on the AEW side of things, even though they've recently made some big signings, recently they're looking to sign even more people, as rumors seem to be going around. Of course, Jack Perry also recently made his return at Dynasty this past Sunday to AEW, really getting into the storyline involving the Young Bucks, the Elite, and FTR. So with that, that's all we got for the wrestling wrap up. So now what we'll do, of course, is today being Tuesday, April 23rd, 2024. Let's take a look back at this day in each history. History! So actually, we only have 3 items tonight, instead of the usual 4. So I can find the blasted cursor here. Let's see, 2014, 1974, and 1994. Okay, so with that, the first thing I'd like to do, of course, I'd like to wish a happy 50th birthday to Jennifer Paz. Jennifer Paz. Jennifer Paz is a Filipino-American voice actress who, of course, is the voice of Lapis Lazuli in the Steven Universe franchise, as well as Tracy in As Told by Ginger. So happy 50th birthday to Jennifer Paz. So also now, moving on to the next piece of neat history there. On this day in 1994, Shin-El Animation's Crayon Shin-Chan, The Hidden Treasure of the Buri Kingdom, premiered in Japanese theaters on this date back in 1994. 30 years ago today, the Shin-El Animation's Crayon Shin-Chan, The Hidden Treasure of the Buri Kingdom premiered in Japanese theaters on this date um, back in 1994. Now, at least now I don't know if this is as much due to the original, but basically when Funimation dubbed this, I think it is the case too. It was more of a direct translation. I don't know if anybody else here has seen the Shin-Chan anime. I've watched the dub version. Um, it's kind of, at least the way the Funimation did it, it would suggest that it's like the Japanese version of The Simpsons, basically. um, Basically, a similar type humor, similar type characterization, and all that. Um, so that's basically so on this date, 30 years ago today, Crayon Shin-Chan, The Hidden Treasure of the Buri Kingdom, premiered in Japanese theaters. And now, finally, moving ahead to 2014 here. On this date in 2014, 10 years ago today, the 270th issue of Betty and Veronica from Archie Comics went on sale on this date 10 years ago today. Sold for $2.99, was 32 pages. So that's all I got for you guys tonight. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. So before we, of course, head out, Tim, would you like to do an outro?
Just Melvin 1 and 2 special editions available on Walmart, Amazon, and Barnes and Noble.
All right, and we will be back here tomorrow night, and Rick will be back with me as co-host. Tim, if you want to stick around for a couple of minutes afterwards for this post show, um, do that real quick before for a couple minutes. Anyways, with that, I thank everybody for being here, and I hope to. And of course, tomorrow night we'll be back here, as I said, with Tim, or with Rick, sorry. And then on Friday, of course, Apex from Apex Comics will be joining me. We'll be looking back to February 1940, as we will be looking at books that went on sale in February 1940 from Fiction House. So with that, I thank everybody for being here, and I hope to see everybody back here tomorrow. Bye.